Hello everyone. Happy to see all of you. And I'm back to today's session organized by VODAN Africa. My name is Putu, and we have several agendas today, and I chat the agenda on the chat box. So our first agenda is opening from Prof. Francisca, and then maybe we can we will talk about timeline, and then the G2 will present about DHIS2 interoperability, and then followed by my presentation with Mariam about health facility statistics, and then followed by G2 or Samson about check the bulk input, and because Abram is not here, so maybe we will skip capacity building update. Abram cannot be present in this meeting, and followed by country coordinator update. And then if there is any question or feedback, you can ask it on the last session, and then we can close the meeting today. So as always, try to keep your mic muted during presentation to prevent background noises. And if you have any questions, so you can put it on the chat box or you can raise your hand. And now I will hand over to Prof. Francisca to lead this session. So Prof. Francisca, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Putu. Good morning from Toronto, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from wherever you are joining us. It's good to have everyone present again, and thank you for making it today to our regular Tuesday meetings. Professor Miriam will be joining us shortly, so I will be holding brief on the meeting till when she's able to join us. Putu, who is going to be presenting on the timeline? Do you have an idea who that will be? Oluwole is joining. It's not in
commonly Prof. Miriam take over the timeline, but maybe we can skip that for now.
Okay, let's hold on while I consult further on that. So, but generally, I would like to welcome everyone and thank you for making the date again. As usual, we are making progress as it is, and on the agenda, there is an item that is missing. There should be a presentation on the preparation for the steering committee meeting of tomorrow.
Okay, I will put that on the agenda now.
Yes, steering committee meeting, and that will be given by me. It's just a brief update anyway, nothing much. I would like to welcome all the members of our community and to especially welcome Her Excellency, the Honorable Julian Duncan Castle from Liberia. She has been a very strong supporter of VODAN Africa, actually one of the earliest government officials to endorse VODAN Africa at the first phase. And now she's leading the project in Liberia. So I would like to welcome Honorable Julian Duncan. Your Excellency, would you like to say a word or two to everyone?
Thank you very much. And I'm so proud of the work that all of you are doing on our continent, especially Dr. Mariam. I mean, she is so concerned about the livelihood of our people. I hope that everybody could just rally around, continue. I got the information circulated to the Minister of Health, the Dean of the Medical School, but they just ended the West African Medical Association had a conference in Liberia. And so all of last week, they were busy preparing for it, and the conference is ended. So the minister promised me that she will get back to me. She's interested, and she's sorry that it took so long because she was informed before. She's sorry it took so long that it been surrounded with other stuff. But she will get back to us. She'll reply to the email that was sent to her by Putu. I spoke to Dr. Peter Koma, who's also former minister, former senator, and he's one of the dean at the medical school. And he is also interested. I know other countries are going far ahead, but because I'm not in the medical field, I'm not a researcher, so it took me a while being out of the country to get my feedback on enrolling. But now I'm back home. I promise that we get my full support. But I'm also head of an NGO, the Women NGO Secretary of Liberia, and we are getting ready for elections. So I'm mostly in the counties. And sometimes it's hard to get online because of the connectivity. And sometimes I would try, but then it would just, our internet here is one of the worst. So I ask you all indulgence. And any now and then when I go on WhatsApp, I see something, I try to comment on it. But that's why I haven't been so making impact, and you can count me in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And you may think you are not contributing as much as we want to, but we truly, truly appreciate the impact you're making. Having you among us, it's a lot of, that is more than any currency. And then with the network you're building for VODAN Africa in Liberia and across the West African region, it's something that we're very proud of and we're so happy with. So we thank you for your presence, and we thank you also for the promise of continued support.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Moving right along, I'll call on Getu to make the presentation on the DHIS interoperability. Before Getu comes on, one of the questions we had originally when we proposed the phase 2 of this project, especially from the sponsors and the funders, was how will this impact on already existing health information systems in some of the partner countries? So it would be good to listen to Getu today, make the presentation on the interoperability of our solution with the DHIS2. Getu, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, Prof. And hi, everyone. I will present you the process flow diagram for the DHIS2 minimal viable product, our products, interoperability among them. So when we think about DHIS2, what comes first is the indicator. So the indicators that are going to be reported into the DHIS2 are predefined by the Minister of Health of any country. So what we need to do is we need to identify the indicators to be reported first here. So after we identify the indicators, we need to identify the data elements for each indicators in the DHIS2. So the data is represented as three-dimensional in DHIS2. Like it has to have organization units, it has to have period, and the third is the data set. In data sets, there are data elements which contain indicators. Therefore, first in DHIS2, we need to select the data elements which contain, which have the indicators. Then we need to create data set report. For example, in our case, we have ANC form. For this ANC form, there is a data set in DHIS2 under the message. So we need to create that dataset report so that we will have a skeleton of JSON or any form, XML or other formats. But in our case, we prefer to use JSON. Therefore, we need to export the JSON, the skeleton, and we bring that skeleton, JSON skeleton, into our platform, which is VODAN MVP, and we need to upload it. And in VODAN, we have already prepared the statistics indicators prepared by Oluwole and Ezra. So you can see here the MySQL, the KPIs for the dashboard are collected here, queried and collected here in this MySQL. So we need to prepare or create queries for each data element that we need to report to the DHIS2, and those will be added, the values of the queries will be added into the skeleton we brought from the DHIS2. Therefore, we will have the skeleton JSON with the values. So after we got that, we download it and we can take it to the DHIS2 and import it. The DHIS2 has import-export capability. When we think about this flow diagram, we are thinking that the VODAN MVP and the DHIS2 are in a separate room, in a separate computers, and handled by different data clerks. Therefore, the one who controls the MVP need to download the JSON and brought to the data clerk who controls the DHIS2 and give him the JSON format, and that's how they can import it. The other approach is, this is the first one. This is for in case the facility has no internet connectivity. So if the facility has internet connectivity, everything is the same, but we can just post the JSON with data values into the DHIS2. So we can use API capabilities of the DHIS2, and we can directly connect the MVP and the DHIS2 directly with APIs. So the difference is, one is facility with connectivity, the other is facility without connectivity. Without connectivity, we just download the JSON format with values and bring it to DHIS2, and we can import it. With facilities with internet connectivity, we can just directly use API capability, and we can post the JSON with data values into the DHIS2. This is how we can create the interoperability between the MVP and the DHIS2. I think in the case of Impilo, I think this will work for Impilo as well. I was exploring Impilo yesterday, and it's also a source of Zimbabwe members can apply that. If that's the case, this exact flow diagram applies to Impilo.
Gitu.
Yes.
We are
Okay.
losing you. Gitu. Yeah. Can you repeat the last part, because your internet was breaking?
Hello. No.
You're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm done with my presentation.
I'm done with my presentation. Hello,
Okay.
Putu.
Yes.
That's all.
We missed the last part on Impilo.
Which one? Yeah, Impilo. Yeah,
Yes.
in Impilo, I think the Impilo is very similar with the DHIS2. So these two flow diagrams may apply exactly the same way to Impilo as well. That's what I was saying. Maybe the Zimbabwe guys can reflect to that.
All right, Kitu, would you like to work with the Zimbabwe people to see how this works with Impilo? We were losing you, but perhaps we can take this up after the meeting off list. Professor Miriam is here.
If you have any
Okay, Prof. Thank you. Professor Miriam, thank you. I will take the updates on data intelligence as well from you. Maybe after we take the health facility statistics and the bulk inputs. Putu and Miriam.
Okay, thanks, Prof. Francisca. I think I will share my screen first. So yesterday we had a discussion with country
Sorry,
coordinator.
Putu, I'm still seeing the screen of Getu.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
So I think it's better to stop and then you can share. Yeah, right. This is fine. We can start sharing now.
Okay, wait a minute. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I will start to present and then followed by Mariam for the ANC form. So yesterday we had a discussion and we decided to change the term of KPI to health facility statistics because we thought that KPI term is not suitable for the graphic or it is better to use health facility statistics because it is only the aggregate. So that's why we decided to change the term. And based on what Mariam did with the comparison of the attribute of the template among the template attribute, so I help her to finalize what can we do because we need the statistic that comparable among the attribute. So this is what I did today, and I think it is quite straightforward. So from the template of OPD, so the statistic is there are three statistics from there are three health information health facility statistic from the OPD template. It is patient visits, and we can use daily and monthly. I mean, daily we can use Grab, and also monthly we can use cumulative monthly. And the description of patient visits is aggregate of the number of patient visit. And we can get this aggregate from the attribute of date of patient visit that exists in all of the template group. And the second statistic from the OPD is patient gender percentage. So I found that we can use the percentage of the patient gender. For example, like how many percent of male and female, because we have this the gender attribute among the template attribute in the group. So we can use patient gender percentage monthly. And then the third statistics is frequency of selected diseases. It is the aggregate of the selected diseases grouped by diseases. So we can gain the information from the diagnosis attribute, and we have all of the attribute among the template group. And that's all from the OPD. There are three health facility statistics in total. And from COVID-19, so we have four statistics from COVID-19. So first is patient visits. It is daily and monthly. Patient visits is aggregate of the number of patient visits for COVID-19, not 19 tests. But and we found it this attribute among all of the template group. And the second one is patient tests for COVID-19. We can use daily and monthly. It is aggregate of the number of patient tests for COVID-19. And we found it in all of the group, and the attribute is test on COVID-19. And the third statistics is patient test positive of COVID-19. So we can use statistic daily and monthly. So it is aggregate of the number of patient test COVID-19 positive, and we can gain the information from the attribute of COVID-19 result, but only the positive one. So we have this attribute in all of the template group. And the last one is patient death. It is the aggregate of the number of patient death because of COVID-19. And we have the mortality status attribute in all of the template group. So in total, in COVID-19 template, we have 4 statistics. So with OPD and COVID-19, so we have 7 statistics right now to show in the internal and external dashboard of VODAN. But we have one more template. It is ANC, and I think Mariam will continue the explanation of this. So I will give the floor to you, Mariam.
Yes, thank you, Putu. Putu has basically elaborated most of it for the health facility statistics. So like you mentioned, there was an issue with the fact that some of the statistics were not fit for some of the templates, stroke template groups. And as you may have noticed, we now have a new facility statistic, which is basically covered within all the template groups. And so basically yesterday during the meeting, there were issues raised with regards to the MCA generic templates, which was previously created. And this is mainly because, well, it was generic and comprised of services, of different services that are collected using different registers within the different countries. So yesterday we decided to focus on the antenatal, the ANC template. Sorry, maybe I will share my screen. So currently, I've not yet received all the country ANC templates, so that part of the analysis is not yet completely done. But so far, we've received Nigeria, Kenya, Tigray. I'm expecting the one for Uganda today. And then I'm also expecting the one from Somalia and Zimbabwe. That's the basic updates on the ANC.
Right. Thank you very much, Mariam and Putu, for that work. Just between yesterday and today, you've been able to make such amazing progress on re-editing the health facilities templates across the countries. Perhaps, Professor Miriam, you wanted to say something on that?
Yeah, thanks, Prof. Francesca. I have 2 quick questions. I think it's really good, fantastic work. In case that COVID-19 is that there is not much available in some of the facilities, it might be good to have maximized what we could use from the OPDs maybe. And I was wondering if you could consider too, I think that it is possible to also include a patient per age, because I think in all of the OPD forms, there is age or date of birth. And the other one that I wanted to ask if you could look at that is that on line 83, you have prescription medicine treatment. And on line 87, you have outcome of hospital visits, remark treatment outcomes. If you combine those, would that allow us to have a statistic on treatment, is my question to you. But we can, maybe you can study it and we can pick it up for next week.
Yeah, I think I'll study it just now, and then because the treatment outcomes has the fields under that are basically whether the patient has been referred or treated or not treated. So I'll basically just look into that, but it should be possible.
Yeah, it is lines 83 and 87.
Okay, got that.
Okay, great job.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you again for the updates, Miriam and Putu. Next, we'll have to hear from Getu and or Samson on the bulk input.
Hello, Prof. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Getu.
Sorry for the break. Yeah, the connectivity is a little bit intermittent.
Yeah.
I hope now I could present it. So can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So now I will present the bulk upload. So the process flow diagram looks like this. So what's basically what we do in our MVP is that we have already prepared data sets previously collected, like in any form, but in our case, we are going to use comma-separated values, which is the CSV in CSV format data set. So what we do is we have most of the templates are created in the online CDR, which is a remote CDR. So where we start is by creating the templates, and from the template we can generate the template instance. So in CDR, the template instances are in JSON linked data format. So we copy and save those JSON LD MPT instances, and we bring them into our platform, which is our MVP. We have the capability of uploading the JSON format, and this JSON format is just a skeleton without any value. By bringing the values from the CSV, the CSV is the data set which we want to upload to our CDR. So in CSV, the format it has its own field names. So the field names in CSV are the same as the fields in the JSON. So we can concatenate, or we can bring the values in CSV and put them into the JSON, and we can host the instances, the JSONs with values to our CDR by selecting any. So in CDR, we can create any folder where we want to put the template instances to. Therefore, by selecting the folder ID, we can post our instances, bulk instances, into either to the online or local. We have the capability of choosing local or online in MVP. If we want online, we will just use meta-datacenter.org. If we want to push it into our local CDR, we just choose meta-datacenter.org/x. Then, after we upload them, we can check the instances in the folder that we give it previously, in both in CDR, local CDR, as well as online CDR. By the same approach, we have also prepared the workflow for the process flow diagram for the template creation. The template creation comes after we develop the bulk upload. Because the approach is very similar. If we can put data into the CDR from external, from our own MVP, we can also create the templates that were created in the CDR online into the local CDR by the same approach. This, we hope, will decrease the effort, reduce the effort of creating templates that were created online if we we were forced to repeat what we did on the online into the local CDR. So what we came up with is that we can just automatically create templates in the local CDR that were created in online CDR. The other importance of this this tool is that in CDR there is one capability in the online CDR. We can share templates across the users. But if the facility is offline, we cannot share it. But with this tool, we can create whatever we have in the online CDR into any facilities. I think I have finished my presentation, but Samson can add up on the backup task. He has an update, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter. Getu, thank you so much for this. I think Oluwale has a concern in the chat. Oluwale, perhaps you'd like to elaborate more on this.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. My concern is about not really so much of a concern, but if we are changing nomenclature, yeah, that's very fine. But then changing a lot of the KPIs would affect the dashboard and whatever we're doing, because initially, you know, OPD templates took this form by not having the same fields across the countries. So that's a different structure. But then the MCH, as we had it before, had the same. That was why it was called generic. But now with the current proposal that I'm seeing, all the facilities will probably, or the countries would not have the same fields. They will not have the same KPIs. So yeah, I'm thinking, because that would actually affect the structure that we currently have.
Okay, do you mean it may possibly lead to having to redo the dashboard again?
Of course, that's what it means.
No,
nomenclature is just a change of name, but structure, yes, we have to restructure. We have to restructure the processes, as in, you know, initially it was generic. We could just pick values across board. But if they are different, we would first of all have to bring all of them together, aggregate, and pick what we need and display what is necessary.
We cannot afford that. We have a deadline of March 30th, I think.
Yeah, but maybe, so if you look, so we're going back to the discussion on the statistics by Putu and Mariam, right?
Yes, Prof.
So I'm seeing at the moment on the screen the presentation of Ketu, so I'm doing by heart. But the statistics on COVID, they remain the same across. So there's no problem there. On the statistics of the OPD based, there is not a lot of change. It is just making sure that we don't have statistics that are not available for most of the facilities, which would be terrible. To have done all of this work and then to sit with statistics that are not available for most facilities is just unreasonable. So that is why Putu and Mariam went back to look at the statistics and their availability across the facilities. On the ANC, maybe we can still see, because the discussion yesterday was that the problem with the form on MCH is that the partners were pointing out that the statistics were chosen from 3 different services: delivery, mother care, and child care. And so it would be very unlikely in the facilities that they would be able to produce this data coming from 3 different types of services. And this is why it was proposed by Dr. Araya and Dr. Reginald and Dr. Jamal, I think, to select one of the services. And so the services that were selected were the ANC. Now we have to see whether the ANC formats are widely different or not. And I think that then we have to see if it really makes a big change to the backends. But for the OPD, there are not that many changes. For COVID, there's no change. And ANC, we just have to see whether the forms differ widely, but it will allow us to know that we will get better data and that we will get the data. That was the concern there, Oluwole, just to explain to you why we came to this point.
Okay, you would like to see the that's Putu's screen. You'd like to see the spreadsheet again, Oluwole?
Oh, I just
Yes.
know.
Oluwole,
Yeah.
Oluwole,
Yeah.
yes, says he likes to see the, and even the spreadsheet has changed since the one I saw in the morning and now.
No, for ANC.
ANC, Miriam is working on that.
It's the diagnostic one. There's just some bit of attributes from the, yeah, just for, that's just the beginning part. It's not yet done. So.
Okay.
But not completed analysis yet. So the templates are still being created, also the vocabularies, but that's kind of like a general structure of the attributes within the different templates for the ANC.
I think what happened there, it's not really a matter of bad management, but what happened there was that first we had asked Oluwole and Ezra to come up with a design for the dashboard. And that was done on the basis of what we then called KPIs that Putu had selected based on the discussion with the country coordinators, but it had not really been checked based on the attribute fields. And then so 2-3 weeks ago, Mariam started to really do the fine-tuned analysis comparing the attribute fields for all of the template groups. And that is when the problem came up that not all of the proposed KPIs, the proposed statistics, were available for all of the template groups. And then that is how it came to the discussion yesterday that we may be getting very bad quality of data if we don't base it on an analysis of which data will be produced under the templates. And then the issue of the MCH template came up. So it is just working step by step that the audit of what do these templates represent and how workable are they in the facilities, that is how the issue came up, Oluwole. I hope it makes it clearer. We're not trying to complicate your life. We're just trying to make sure that when we deploy, that we actually have something that the facilities can work with.
Okay, yeah, I think that, that's okay. Well, I would propose or suggest we probably have on the side technical meeting after this general meeting. I think there are many things that will be better explained there than, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that myself, because if we have a deployment deadline in a few days, and then we're changing some of the key indicators, of course, we call them vocabularies now. It's important that the statistics, I mean, it's important that the technical team understands and are able to advise us for that, if this is what is obtainable now, or we have to carry it to the next phase.
Yeah, but the thing is that it will also be very time consuming to put an image that we already know is not going to produce the data that we need. And it will be harmful, in fact, with our consortium. So I can understand the feeling like we have said we are deploying, we should deploy. I am very much in that mode too. But to deploy with the fields in the dashboard that cannot be filled with data is also very high risk. So I think we just need to, we can have a meeting after this meeting, but we need to come up with a viable thing that weighs up everything. We still are not completely through the work of Samson and Getu as well. I mean, I think you discussed that Samson has asked for a test of the bulk input with the Uganda group. That would be the tasked with Oluwola, I think. And the issue that Getu was just presenting on the DHIS output, we have got now the design of it, but it still needs to be coded. So we're not ready yet. We want to be ready on the 1st of April, but we still have a few steps to do. Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, Oluwola.
All right, thank you, Prof. I'll give a brief on the preparations for the steering committee meeting of tomorrow. As you all are aware, the steering committee is more of a group of the consortium, which is the funders, and then the board comprising of the implementation network chair, the VC, myself, and then all the country coordinators. And yes, the GoFair Foundation, the Philips Foundation, the FMO, and then of course CODAID. So for tomorrow, we have the agenda ready, and then we also have prepared the documents coming from the side of VODAN Africa, both from the side of the board and from the technical team, the Tuesday technical meeting. Beth is always part of this meeting and is also a member of the steering committee. So Beth's it's always there to corroborate whatever it is I present coming from this Tuesday's technical meeting. So that's just the summary that we are ready. We have all the documents ready. We have the reports ready, and then we hope by tomorrow. I'll come back again next week to give you, as usual, commendation from the steering committee on the good work that the team of VODAN Africa and Asia has done. Prof, would you like to speak to that as the chair of the steering committee? Professor Miriam.
It is well prepared, and thank you for all the preparations, Francesca. I think we will be good. I'm just wondering, who would you like to have from this group next to you? And also, do you want to have some of the people, you know, we are presenting that slide with the different responsibilities that is also in the agreements of PUTU. Do you want some of the colleagues there? And who would you want to be there to have? Yeah.
Yes, Prof. You know, usually we have, in addition to the country coordinators, we have the technical people always on standby, because if there are questions on the dashboard, Oluwole and Ezra would have to answer the question. There is Kawu in the area of quality. Of course, Dr. Jamal is a member by default. Dr. Sakinat is a member, so is Dr. Wondimu. So I think the people I may have to send an invite to Putu, if it's still within his time, and Aliyah. But otherwise, if there are questions to these people, Miriam is already there by default as well. Aliyah, Rudwan, and of course, Samson, they're usually in attendance. The technical team are usually in attendance to shed more light on some of the technical issues if it is required. So I'll just look at that list of leadership again and see those who are not at the meeting, who are not expected at the meeting by default, and I'll send the email invite.
Right, I would, yeah. If you allow me, I would think it would be really great tomorrow if Dr. Manhibi or alternatively Dr. Madzeke could be there, because it is really good to emphasize that in addition, I mean, we have, I hope, Dr. Wondimu and Dr. Araya, because in our starting terms, we had the focus on Ethiopia and on Zimbabwe. And then, of course, we have the great achievements in all the other countries. But it would be good to have some feedback from the Zimbabwe team and the Ethiopia team, if that is, do you think that would be a good idea, Francesca?
Yes, Prof. Of course, the Ethiopian team, Doctors Wondimu and Araya, they're members by default. They are attending it by default. But now I've noted it to invite in addition to the country coordinators and the 2 coordinators from Zimbabwe, to send them the invite from Ingrid. I'll do that after this meeting. I'll just request their email addresses from you. If you send me, then I'll invite them to the meeting. They should have been added by default, but we have not had any stakeholder meetings since they joined the project.
Yes. So shall I go on to the issue of, did you discuss the issue of the backup? Samson has finalized the proposal for that, and he would like to test that also with Dr. Manhibi. So maybe, did you discuss it already?
No, not yet.
So Samson, maybe you can present, and Dr. Manhibi, can you respond to the question of the steering committee tomorrow? And also whether you can test the backup with Samson. Samson.
Thanks, Prof. Can you hear me? Hi, everyone.
Hi, Samson.
Yes. So in relation to the backup, what we did is we have managed to create a facility of or the ability to do the backup and the ability to restore from within the application. So the primary focus we had is on ease of use of the application. So the application, what it does is the CERAR system and everything is now currently being deployed as an image, and the image stores has databases predominantly for CERAR. It uses a MongoDB. So what the backup system does is it allows you to be able to do a backup of the database and also restore it. And in doing so, the data clerks can also back up into an external drive and the restore as well. I think in the interest of time, I'm just presenting if somebody wants to test, or if we can arrange a demo and a separate meeting, that would be good. What needs a decision is on how the backups should be kept. I mean, the workflow needs perhaps a discussion, because different facilities can have different rules as to who should be able or allowed to have the data and everything. Workflow and schedule of the backup could probably need a decision and a discussion. Technically, we are able to do the backup and restore.
Hi, Samson, are you still speaking?
No, I've finished. Did you hear, or I don't know?
Yes,
I post it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
No, I think I focused mainly on what we did and what the decisions needed and the discussions that are needed. We can perhaps take them to other technical meetings. Otherwise, if there is a need to demonstrate, I can also do the demonstration now. Thanks, Prof. Over.
Thank you very much, Samson. Perhaps, as you suggested, we can take that to the technical meeting. And then, Professor Miriam, do you have something to say?
I think we can take the demonstration maybe now.
Okay.
If Samson is ready, why not?
Samson, I think you are muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
So the backup facilities, you can do the create backup and then write some description on just to remind on what situation the backup is taken in, and then we can also choose a place where we do the backup, and then we can save the backup, so it saves entire backup like this. And also we're able to restore the data like here we have templates in the, this is a MongoDB that we can for instance, if there are changes that are made afterwards, we can see that when the backup was taken, there were only 3 templates. When we do the restore, we can do the restore and then it was restored to where it was. Just a demonstration. There is also another feature of being able to do the copying of the files into different repositories that others facilities might prefer, in which case we're doing an rsync or a recursive sync of the file into a separate location. So like I said earlier, the primary focus here is in which they would do the backup and the restore. And I think other features based on our discussion in the technical meeting, we can enhance them. Thanks so very much.
Thank you very much, Samson. Thank you. I think I have a message that Ronald will be to test the backup with you. Dr. Ronald Manhibi has agreed to test the backup with you, Samson. So it will be a good thing to set up that meeting with the Ronald of Zimbabwe to set up the testing of the backup system.
Yeah, that would be very good, Prof, because last time he had made a good presentation and a comprehensive approach on how we do the backup.
Okay, Ronald?
Focusing on how we do simple. Can you hear me? And Oluwale was focusing on creating simple backup, and based on the discussion, that this is what we have done so far.
Thank you.
So
I've asked
Ronald
to
discuss with
speak.
Ronald and Oluwale.
Yes, Ronald is at the meeting. Will you like to quickly confirm that, Ronald?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm traveling. So I think we can arrange for a test. We can test. I was Professor Miriam had also sent me a message and I had confirmed. So I think it's confirmed. I don't know how we can or when we can arrange for the test. Maybe sometime this week or maybe sometime next week. Yeah.
Okay. I'll make the arrangement. I've just noted that as well. Thank you very much for confirming that, Ronald. Before we cap it with the country coordinators updates, Professor Miriam, perhaps you'd like to update on the data intelligence since you just had a meeting with Dr. Fehon.
Yes, it was a very, very good meeting. I think I'm going to make a lot of people happy. So first of all, we confirmed that all of the articles have been approved. There still is some final approval by the journal and so on. So there always is still a possibility of a hiccup. But I mean, I don't think it's likely. I think that we will be good on all of the articles. The articles are divided as follows. So article 1 to 10 will be published by Data Intelligence. That is the first article, the article on terminology, the article on agenda setting in the European Union, the article on the implementation in non-Western geographies, then all the fair equivalency articles. The article of Aliyah for Kazakhstan would go in a second journal. It is proposed together with the e-health implementation article by Kudakwashi Chindoza and the article of the conundrum of diversity, the fair experience, is proposed for the second journal, and also the article on Pumwani and artificial intelligence. They are proposed for the second journal, and she will detail the journal name to me. I need to get the name of the journal, but she is also in charge of the journal. So it's also those articles are secure. And that means that the other articles, so digital health interoperability in Uganda, the proof of concept article, the access control article, and the open fair data and open data, the article about Tunisia, they are all in the data intelligence one, and also the articles on DISH, the curriculum development and distance education, as well as the fair machine learning pipeline of Nigeria. They are in data intelligence. I think it can go fast now. She asked to do some minor changes, but they are really not substantive. So there is no reason why we couldn't agree to them. There's nothing even sensitive about the changes. They are just, they make sense. So I will do that today, tomorrow, then I will send everything on. And then it is, it really is on the way to being published. And then the other good news is that we have been invited to do a special issue too, based on 2021. So everybody can open up their computers again and start writing the next bunch of articles for that one. Furthermore, there was something about VODAN being represented on the co-data working group on population and healthcare data, which on behalf of VODAN, I've said we would be very honored and privileged to do that. So all along was a very, very, very good meeting. Thank you, Prof. Francesca.
Thank you so much, Prof, for the very good news and a very exciting update. And I speak for everyone that we're ready to go again based on the invitation to publish. We're always ready. And then as soon as we have the details, we get to work. Thank you very much. Well, I know I'm so sorry. We're like 4 minutes over the hour, but it's good we get the update from the country coordinators before we close the meeting. So I quickly call Dr. Reginald in 1 or 2 minutes to give the updates.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Professor Francesca. You know, every time we listen to the technical teams where everybody's doing something, it's actually on behalf of the country coordinators, what we are trying to see implemented in our own respective countries. I still recall when we started VODAN, we said the VODAN is like building an aeroplane as it flies. So the captains there, the stewards, the engineers, everybody is doing something. So they all fit in with what the country coordinators expect. And we thank everybody. So things on the side, for example, buying of computers, those have been bought and work is going on. Health facilities agreement, I think that is something that we discussed yesterday, and Puto is taking up the corrections of having received the agreement from Kampala International University. And then we are always aware of the question of contracts. So that's what I would say, Professor Francisca. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Reginald. Thank you for the excellent leadership of the country coordinators. I take everything, and on the issue of contracts, I'm sure that is also will be finalized as soon as we get to a comfortable place to do that. Thank you. I'll hand back over to you now, Putu, to do the concluding formalities and close the meeting.
Can I come in one more time, Francesca?
Yes,
I think maybe for tomorrow for the steering committee, it might be good to have, if Putu is able to do that, to have the agreement with the changes enacted that the lawyer agreed, so that in follow-up to the meeting, we can also send that, because I think that the consortium members may be interested in that, and you may want to offer that, Francesca, that you can send the agreement on. So if Putu could have looked at it before and then send a copy to you and me beforehand, I think that would be strategic. Maybe it is useful for Samson to give a time that he can meet with Ronald, so that because since Samson is not all the time available, then that can be done right away on the bulk input test. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Prof. So Putu, I'll hand over to you now.
Okay, thanks, Prof. Francisca. So is there any last question or comment before we close this session? So if there is no question or feedback anymore, I will close the meeting. So thanks everyone to join the meeting. And as always, the video recording will be available this week via YouTube and WhatsApp group. And thanks again for joining us. And we will see you next week in the same meeting. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye, Prof. Bye, everyone.